You're listening to The Flickcast, a podcast about stuff nerds love. I am Chris Ulrich, and joining me, of course, my co-host, Joe Dilworth. Hello, Joe.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. And yourself?
I'm doing good. That sounded really...
robotic?
Yes.
Thank you.
Here we are on the latest episode of The Flickcast.
It's podcast co-host bot 101.
Yes. I don't actually exist. I'm just an AI.
I am really happy to be here. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to The Flickcast. On this episode,
Exactly.
we will talk about... Yeah.
It's got to have the space for insert name here.
Yes, and it's probably... we have to put in like a female voice for the Flickcast part.
Exactly. The Flickcast. Yeah, exactly. That would be funny.
People don't remember calling automated lines anymore. I don't think they exist. But
I think my favorite thing about that is when you call for customer support and it's like there's a robot obviously answering the phone, and then it sounds like it's typing something. It's like, come on.
Yes,
it's not type. It doesn't have fingers. How is it typing anything?
I also like when they
let me find the department it's into. Click, click, click.
Yes.
I'm like, come on, just give me a break.
Also, like when they have like weird. Because it's a robot, and it's actually a computer-generated voice where they oddly mispronounce, well, not mispronounce, but the weird intonations on certain words and stuff like that. It's like, what?
I suppose if we knew how good AI really was, we'd be more worried.
Well, I mean, the dude at Google or whatever tried to warn us.
That's right.
They shit-canned
mysteriously shit-canned him.
Yeah, it's
look
like,
out.
It was the AI that fired him. Everyone else is
Exactly.
going, what'd the guy get fired for? Shh.
Yeah.
Don't talk about it.
Yeah, they're all like trapped at Google headquarters. They can't actually
yes. Really.
Like, what was that Bionic Woman episode? I don't know. I'm digging deep for this one. What was that? The computer that trapped, like there was a one with the fembots, and then there was another one where, what was the name of the computer that trapped her at the facility? I can't remember. But you know what I'm talking about.
I do remember the episode, but I don't remember the name of the computer.
I just remember she got shot by a laser. I remember that.
Yes. Well, that's actually what's going on at Google, folks. Send help.
That's right. When people try to escape, the robots come and take them away.
Well, we'll know if that's true if this episode mysteriously goes offline seconds after being posted.
There you go. It's all of humans as a threat, not just the ones at Google.
And then our computers will try to kill us.
Exactly. Not that that'll ever happen. So.
No.
Oh, man. This is starting off weird.
Well, we live as a warning to others.
Kill your televisions. What was that? Yeah, anyway.
Yes.
Okay, so on this episode, we're going to talk about, strangely enough, no AI, but we will probably touch on some more DC shenanigans. Wow.
Are you Foster Brooks over there? DC.
See, I'm not a robot because I wouldn't do that. DC, Warner Brothers, HBO, whatever you want to call it. And then we'll touch on For All Mankind a bit, and we'll probably talk about Prey, which is the new Predator prequel film.
Yeah.
And a few other things. So,
yeah.
Do you want to talk about HBOMax Discovery Plus, whatever it's called?
I guess it's more Discovery Minus right now, right?
I think so. Oh, well, CNN Plus apparently came and went in 5 minutes. So, the CEO of... the new CEO of all the combined companies is probably not doing a very good job. But, and the company's losing money. Anyway... The gist of it is that HBO Max apparently is not a sustainable business model, and so they're going to fold it into Discovery Plus, and now they're all going to be one thing next year, a one thing to be named later. We don't know what that is. Welcome to blank, and I'm sure an algorithm. Yeah, blank plus. You have to add a plus, otherwise people don't know.
Right.
I think the algorithm has not decided what the new thing is going to be. But I think the statement that was really telling is we need to combine everything together for this to be a sustainable business model. So basically, it's the kitchen sink approach to programming, because you can't just have things and make good things. You have to have everything to appeal to everyone. Apparently.
Yes. So here's the thing, though. This all started with the DC Comics, or I guess DC Entertainment streaming service, where Doom Patrol and Titans and various other things started, and that was considered not a good sustainable model, so they folded that into HBO Max and moved all the shows that lived over there, and now however many years later, it's just like I'm not sure that it's like, well, admit your mistake. Maybe it's not that it's the model that's not sustainable. Maybe the way you're doing it isn't sustainable. I don't know.
Maybe, or maybe some of the programming is just isn't very good. So I guess my biggest question too is why is the Batgirl movie suffering?
Yes.
In all of this, it's like it seems. I don't know. I've been around and I worked in the entertainment industry and I know something about filmmaking as you do, and it's like that seems odd. I would say unprecedented to make an entire film, spend what 70, $80 million on it probably now, and
at least
be deep in post production, and then just go, no, we're not going to release
weeks
that.
before release. Go, no.
That just seems weird,
and not to release it in any format, which I find odd. I thought it would be like, well, you know what, we'll burn this off in Blu-rays because you want to recoup some money from it, even if you don't think you're going to make back what you spent on it. And so just to go, no, we're just going to throw it away is weird. So
it is weird, and I got to think that it has something more. It's not just a bean counter decision, and I always insult the bean counters. I'm sorry, folks. Bean counters are important in Hollywood and anywhere. If you can't manage your money, that's a problem, but just not my problem. Anyway, it seems like it's also in some ways personal because the new guy, Zaslav, I think is his name, does not want anything from the previous regime. I don't know. I mean, that seems very weird to take that kind of a write down on your taxes. But if the company's already going to lose a bunch of money anyway, which it is apparently,
there's a couple other projects too that they did similar to. There was a Scooby-Doo prequel sequel that was at the same stage, basically just about completed, and they're like, "No, we're not going to release that either." So it seems like, it's like the previous regime, their pet projects were going to say. I guess there was a Supergirl movie that was going to spin out of The Flash that they decided not to go forward on, and the rumor, yet never actually stated by anyone, that they have pulled Keaton's scenes from the Aquaman 2 sequel and reshot them with Bennett. See, that's the thing, though. It's like, so you're killing previous regime, but then you're doubling down on trying to bring back Affleck as Batman and seem to hint that you want to continue the I don't know. I think it's a mess over there. I don't think they know what they're doing, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't think that. Apparently, the person, the CEO, David Zaslav, is not is not super friendly to artists. It sounds like so. It's just weird. I've done this for a while, and I've been around the business for a long time, and it's just I don't know that there's ever been a situation where you had a film that you spent this much money on that you just pulled the plug on. It just seems weird. I can't think it's I can't think it's a sound business decision, but maybe it is. Maybe to them it's like this is the only way we can save money in the long run, because you can take a tax deduction. But I guess and I don't know all the ins and outs of Warner Brothers financials, but I know there's a lot of our old friend cross collateralization is coming back again. So it's like, maybe you take a hit on this one, and I don't know. It just seems weird. It almost seems punitive on his part, saying, fuck you guys, kind of thing. So
and it's also kind of funny that, we're going to rethink our streaming model and combine these services and stuff. But just so you know, we're not going to produce anything for streaming. We're producing it all for the theater. And I get it. And that's the way it was, back in the olden times. But it's just like, they sound like, why don't you just give up the streaming thing? Because you don't sound like you're like that interested in it or want to do anything with it.
Well, they're interested in shareholder equity. And if they can make money by cutting costs, then I guess. I mean, again, we're not in the boardroom, so we don't really know. But it's just weird. It seems like a weird decision. And yet, apparently the Flash movie is still going ahead, so
and things continue to get worse with Ezra Miller, and they're like, "Oh, we're really excited for that one." I'm like, "What?" If anything, I would think that would be the one. They're like, "Let's take a write-off on that, and let's build out this franchise and the movies. Either restart them from scratch, or use what we have as springboards." But they seem very, very invested in the Flash, come hell or high water.
Yeah, they are, and I don't know. Maybe the Batgirl movie is just terrible. Maybe it's just unwatchable.
Guess, but I don't.
It's possible. I don't know. Did you like the last Bad Boys movie? I mean, that's the last thing these guys did.
No, not really. I didn't think it was all that great, but
Yeah, so maybe they just didn't do a very good job. I mean,
It could
maybe the
be.
movie's just terrible. I mean, I don't know. I wish that. I think that it. I think it'll come out eventually, or somewhere it'll come out. But I don't know.
It seems like it that at some point you're going to go, hey, we need a
Once
cash
this,
influx. Let's release this
yeah,
on something.
once this CEO gets replaced by somebody else,
Yeah, be like, no, we want to save Batgirl. In fact, we're going to make 8 movies with her.
well, or it'll just be that there'll be the Batgirl director's cut in 5 years or something. I don't know, but
All I'm saying is they're sending in, Bob Slidell and Bob Porter into Warner Brothers Discovery. So just
right, it's
watch
going to be
yourselves.
fine.
Yes.
Everything's going to be fine.
Good luck with your firings. I hope it goes really well.
Yeah, good luck with your firings. Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. There seems to be some problem with the company and with their vision for what their future is. I also think this will probably have some effect on other filmmakers and other directors wanting to work with Warner Bros. In the first place, to put in so much work and then have their project be shelved for no reason. I mean, maybe there's a reason that they've been told and they're just not allowed to share it or whatever. But it just seems that other people might not want to work with them, which maybe means one of the reasons why Christopher Nolan left Warner Brothers, and maybe
That could
that's
be. Yeah.
I don't think it's going to affect anything like Dune. Oh, that's not a Warner Brothers film. But anyway, it's not going to affect some things, but it will affect other things. So I guess we'll see what the repercussions are. But I don't know. I don't mind HBO Max. It's been fine. There's been some things. HBO is sort of synonymous with decent television programs,
Sure.
and movies and whatever. I don't know if Cinemax is kind of Skinemax.
Skinemax,
So that's kind
yes.
yeah, that is not exactly a brand you want to jump onto. And then you have the Chip and Joanna Gaines channel, which is on
Yes.
Discovery Plus, which I suppose is popular with a lot of people. So I guess if you combine all those things, you get check all the boxes.
You might have
So
something
you're good.
sustainable. All I know
Yeah, you might.
is that Warner Brothers is now committed to a 10-year plan for DC
Right.
movies that they want to make just like Marvel again. So if I had 20 grand every time they said that, I could take a couple years off work. But
Good.
I guess so. Here's my thing. The first time they said that, like, I don't know, back in 2013 or whatever, or I think back when they did Man of Steel, probably, I was like, why don't I don't know. It's like it sounds too much like trying to catch lightning in a bottle twice. It's like don't do that. Come up with your own plan. Don't try to mimic Marvel, because I mean, even in the comics, maybe not so much lately, but even in the comics for decades, Marvel and DC comics were different. They had different tones. They told different kinds of stories, and I don't know. It's like, oh well, that's successful. That should work for us, right? Because these are comic books, so it should be fine. And I think,
I think the difference though is I think that the approach that Marvel takes has been hugely successful, right? So
yes.
they're like, hey, there must be something to that. And what works in comics doesn't always work in the movies, obviously. But you're right. DC and Marvel were usually very distinct, or at least they used to be more distinct. But they kind of, I don't know. To me, it seems like they're kind of all sort of similar now. DC got a little darker, Marvel got a little lighter, maybe. And I don't know, but.
And they also seem to jump the gun too. I mean, Marvel was like, hey, this Iron Man movie is really good, and we put this little teaser in. It would be cool someday if we did an Avengers movie and got them all together, and let's introduce some of these other characters. DC was, Warner Brothers was like, here's your Superman movie, and next we're going to make Justice League. It's like, wait, what? It's like, hold on, just if you want your 10-year plan and you want to mimic what they're doing, actually look at what they did. And go in that direction. I guess there's rumors now that they're probably going to try to poach somebody that works for Marvel Studios higher up. Not Feige, of course, because I'm sure he. Yeah. Although Feige might be, well, hey, listen, I'll totally consult if you want them to be part of our universe. Sure, I'd love to do a Superman Iron Man movie. Let's do it.
That'd be a cool crossover. Yeah, I mean, you could do something like that, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's possible necessarily. Although I never thought Spider-Man would cross over necessarily. I thought they'd hold on to that.
And now we're going to have Fantastic Four and X-Men. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, all you had to do is buy every other studio in town. Maybe just Disney should just buy Warner Brothers too, and then call it a day. I don't know.
So can you imagine what the box office would be if there was ever a Marvel DC live action team up movie? I mean, that would be insane. Everybody would go see that, right?
They would, except for the people who figure that's just like a grab for cash. They're not going to go with it. It's like, I don't want to do that because they're just gonna. I don't want to support that. They're doing it wrong. They're gonna make DC too woke, or Marvel's going to be this, or it's all going to be ruined.
I'll go see that every day in the theater while it's in the theaters if they make it. So that's my promise.
You would?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
I think that would be awesome, especially if it was like, well, much like they did with Spider-Man. It's like we've been trying for years and it hasn't worked, so we're going to fold our movie franchises together and we're going to let Feige run it. Although he'll probably be like 80 then, but still.
Well, he's still young. I hope is he grooming someone to take over? I wonder.
I don't know. It's still funny that like DC's like, well, we got 1 or 2 movies coming out. We're going to can these other movies, and we're not really sure what we're going to do forever. And Marvel's like, hey, here's the next 25 movies we're going to do over the next 5 years.
Yep.
Warner Brothers is just like, damn it.
Well, they have but I think the other problem too is that some of the DC films, some of the Warner Brothers superhero films, just don't do as well. I don't know for whatever reason, and I got to feel like that's Zack Snyder's fault. Sorry, people. He's not a terrific director. I hate to tell you.
No, that's true. I enjoyed those movies. Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman. I even liked his version of Justice League more than He Who Shall Not Be Named version. But and here's the thing too. I think you're onto something because like the first Wonder Woman movie was really good, but Wonder Woman sequel is just like not. I don't know. It just missed the mark, and I think Flash will be good, but who knows? But I was excited to see Batgirl, especially because of the cast.
Yeah, I would have watched that, but I guess we'll never get to see it now.
No, so it's like, really, what are you doing? Shazam was okay, but that was only kind of partially sort of connected. Maybe that's the thing. Marvel didn't start out, like I said, like, oh, let's cut all these intercutted together and let's go and do this and cross over there. They were just like, let's make some good movies of our characters and then we'll treat everybody in a couple years to getting them all together if they're successful.
Right.
And I think that would have been a better approach. Let's do really good, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman reboot. And then, if these are successful, the characters that do well, let's get them together in a Justice League movie. But no, they were like, no, let's do that first. And then we'll show everybody what these characters are like, but still try to kind of get them. I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking, but they should have just hired us. We could have done it well. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it would have been better, but you know what? That doesn't always happen, unfortunately.
Yes.
I'm still available though if you want to recruit. I would try. I would take a swing at the DC superhero.
I'll make a pitch. I have a pitch.
DC
that would work.
I guess you could call it. But anyway, I would definitely take a swing at it. But it's going to take a miracle at this point. At this point, I really think the only answer is just to shelve everything and start over.
Yeah, and maybe not even right away. Just go ahead and say, we're done. We're out of the superhero business for a while. Make some good movies. And then say, okay,
they're going to keep flogging that shit as long as they can.
Of course, yeah.
But, there was also a chance that Iron Man wouldn't have worked, too, but it did. And maybe it was just luck, or maybe it was just Robert Downey Jr., or maybe whatever, or Jon Favreau, or the script, or whatever. It all could have gone to shit, but they seem to have done a good job. And any one of those movies failing miserably could have ruined everything and not made the whole thing work. But now people just expect the franchise and they just expect all this stuff to work, and it kind of does. But DC is just not. They just haven't been able to do it. Apparently.
I just don't think they hired. I guess they did with Zack Snyder, and I think he ran out of steam because. Kevin Feige, for better or for worse, even though he started out with the Marvel movies that people want to forget, but he learned something and paid attention as to what did and didn't work, and then said, okay, so let's make an actual plan. And these are the things that people like in movies and superhero movies. Here's the things they don't, and let's see if this works. And it did, and they went forward. But I don't think they really had that kind of vision or plan other than Zack Snyder going, I got an idea. This is going to be great. It's going to be epic. And then it was like, not so much. But
I guess you want to believe in and that might make them shy now about trusting one person too, because it didn't work out as well as they were hoping for. So they may not want to give the keys to one dude.
Well, Marvel had their consulting committee comprised of creatives from the comic books.
Well, I guess DC does too, right?
So, well, I guess. I don't know if they actually talked to them or listened to them, but I don't think they did when Zack Snyder's like, no, I have a vision. I'm going to do this.
And, and they let him. So
yeah. And here we are.
So, well, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yes,
I guess we'll find out in 2023 what the new thing will be, and we spent a lot of time talking about what happens with a big corporation. So I guess that's sort of somewhat, I guess, silly on our part a little bit. But I am concerned for this reason. I just I like the DC properties too, and there's a lot of great characters, and I like to see filmmakers treated properly.
Yes.
And I hate when people make an entire movie and then it gets canceled. That seems extreme. So I mean, even if the movie sucks,
still
things that suck still get released. Yeah. So all the time.
Yeah, well, and as we said, no one sets out to make a bad movie, and a lot of people put a lot of hard work into this, and not even showcasing it or letting us see it at all is just, I don't know, that's ridiculous.
It is. It absolutely is. So we should move on and get out of this.
Let's talk about a good movie.
Which one? Oh, Prey?
Yes.
Yes.
Unless you didn't think it was good. But.
Oh no, I did. Here's the thing about Prey for me. You couldn't help but hear the hype already.
Sure.
And I didn't see it in an advanced screening or anything. So I came in when it started. When it dropped on HBO. No, on Hulu.
Yes.
Thank you for that, everyone. And I was like, okay. At the beginning, for the first few minutes, I was like, this is interesting. I don't know. It took me a minute to get into it, but once I did, I was totally on board, and I really enjoyed it a lot. And there's a lot of great, callbacks to the Predator franchise, including an iconic line of dialogue, of course.
Yes.
And it just turned out to be awesome. But I don't know. It kind of...
And a certain gun, too.
Yes. A certain gun. Yeah, it took a second to get... to get going for me, but then I was into it the whole time after that. So anyway, and yourself?
Well, as I've always said, if you're going to do a sequel or a continuation of something, do something different with it. And they totally did this time, and I really liked it. Not to say I like this movie, I think, for the same reason that I liked Predators, the plural version, because it wasn't just. Let's face it, Predator 2 was pretty much the same as the first one, just a different setting. I know we'll make this in Los Angeles in the near future. It'll be cool. And I liked it, and I liked the original, of course, but this was completely out of an element we're used to, and I thought it worked really well, and I liked it a lot. And spoilers, because I know people are concerned about this, the dog lives, and I thought that was pretty great too. So
yeah, a good boy too. He's a really good
boy.
He
is a really good boy. Yes.
Except, he's funny. He's funny. I'm glad that the dog survived. Yeah. Yes. Spoilers for Prey if you haven't seen it, but because you can't really kill a dog in movies, I don't think.
And I thought they did a good idea. I think they did a good job in kind of showing a predator that is earlier than we're used to, and the technology wasn't exactly the way we remember it and stuff like that. So that was kind of cool.
Definitely, yeah.
Nice little, but a little ominous mid-credit scene that's like, well, maybe this didn't end as well as we thought. But
what'd you say? A mid-credit scene?
Yeah, a little thing over the end credits that shows that maybe, at least lets us go, hey, there should be a sequel to this because they're back.
Oh, well, yeah.
They're going to they killed one of us. We're going to send more ships. So
I think they will.
Yes.
Make a sequel now, especially, don't you think?
I think so. And, obviously there is the possession of a certain gun that obviously doesn't stay with the tribe. So anyway, I don't know.
Right.
Maybe I'm thinking too much about this, but.
No, but I mean, people have talked about that. It appears in Predator 2, I think.
Yes, it is.
Also, that character
as a trophy at the end. Yes.
Yeah, that character what's his name, Andolini or something.
Yes.
I can't remember the name on the pistol, but he appears in the comic Predator, I think, too.
Yeah, they explained the provenance of the gun in the comics, but this kind of contradicts that. But that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. But yeah, that's right. In Predator 2, they give him the. That's right.
Yeah, the Predator at the end gives him the gun as a trophy because all right, you did good. You beat us. So
you're one ugly motherfucker. Oh.
Yeah.
But of course, my favorite part was if it bleeds, we can kill it. I was like, yeah, there you go.
I still like. All right, who's next? It was pretty great.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it was good. And I watched the. I didn't realize, I guess, that there was a full Comanche version of the film. So I want to actually go back and watch that version with the subtitles. I think that'd be interesting.
Me too.
And I do like the fact that they never tell you what the other guys are saying.
Yes.
Because you're experiencing it from her POV, and so it's like you don't know what they're talking about. It was a little. I was thinking about how are they going to do this, like Hunt for Red October or something. It's like they're going to talk in Comanche and then just transition into English at some point, which I guess they did.
They did that at the beginning, like they did on Valkyrie, Tom Cruise movie. He speaks in German at the beginning of it, and it transitions to English.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
I don't know. I think it's just amazing that they did an entire English version, and they also did it. Okay, Comanche. now it's Comanche. Okay, everyone do that, and everyone could do it. So
yeah, that was really cool. I don't know. Yeah. I really liked it. I thought it looked cinematic. It looked good. Shot well. I mean, cinematography was great. The acting,
and the music,
I thought was.
Did the music remind you of Last of the Mohicans?
It did a little bit.
It did to me too. I was like, it does remind me of that. Yes. The sweeping vistas of Quebec or wherever it was. I guess it's Quebec, right?
Yes, and but there was a little some notes from other Predator movies, including or most especially the first one that were kind of interspersed in there. But yeah. I don't know. I thought it was cool because it was like, this should be easy because they're primitives, and it's like, we're not going to go down that easy.
Well, no, they're very. I was commenting on that. It's like these guys, they see this creature, this predator, become on camouflage, and they jump out to try to fight it. They're not pussies.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I'd be hauling ass in the other direction probably, but
you're like, nope, but they don't. Going to take it out.
Yeah, and then of course there's the scene where all of a sudden it's like, pretty lights. You don't want to stand there. We don't understand. Yes. Why is this? What are these things on me? I don't understand. But I had one question about the end, and again, spoilers for the ending of Prey. Okay. Is the Predator sort of how does he not know that he's not wearing his helmet? You know what I mean? It's like he thought he could shoot her with the spikes thing, and then I don't know. That just sort of
that was a little convenient, I guess. Yes.
And didn't he learn his lesson the first time that happened? It's like, it didn't hit the mark because it's pointing that way. It's like his thing only works with. I mean, is he like the dumb one or something? I don't know. It just
or maybe he was too self-assured that he was more advanced and could do this and didn't. It's like, the primitives will never be able to figure this out. And
his cockiness, got the best of him because he just fought a bear hand to hand. So I guess he's
right.
He feels pretty tough. So I mean that was. I like the idea that she trapped him. I mean, like, that's gonna when she's sunk in the bog or whatever. That's gonna come up again, obviously. But then she gets all muddy. I'm like, how are they gonna make that work like in the first one? But then they didn't have to. They used the other thing instead. That was another thing that I couldn't help doing. Every time I see something, I'm like, that's going to come back later.
Right.
I did that more. I feel like I did that more during this movie than I have in a lot of movies. Like, that skill is going to definitely be useful. Oh, she did that. Oh, well, that'll come back later. Well, I don't know. I don't know why I did it more with this one, but I did with other ones. But that doesn't mean it was a bad movie. I liked it a lot. And Amber Midthunder was awesome.
Yes.
Especially in some of the fight stuff in particular. She's obviously very accomplished in martial arts and everything. And then she was terrific in Legion, I thought, too.
She was fantastic in that. So I'm glad to see her get more work because she's really good.
Yeah, and her brother, Dakota, he was good, too. Yeah. Mr. Dakota Beaver is awesome. Yep. Yeah, never acted before. I thought he did a great job.
I know.
Yeah, I really dug it, and you're right. The only way I think, well, not the only way, but one of a great way to reinvigorate something like this is to totally turn it and make it totally different. And this works on that level and on many other levels too. It's like, what are you going to do that's different? They're the Predator in the old, fighting with the Indians. It's like, it's a metaphor for colonization. Oh, I don't know if that is, but
it kind of is. Yeah, I mean,
but the French guys were dicks, obviously.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I did like the ship.
I dug it.
I did like the ship coming into the atmosphere at the beginning as her sign that she's ready to be a warrior. It's like, oh, that's kind of interesting. It's like, well, that came back on you, didn't it?
you just want to hunt something that's hunting you.
The Thunderbird, and she's like, well, duh. It's like, jeez.
Yeah. Although, there's a lot of criticism. I've seen some criticism about how, people use that term Mary Sue a lot, and they do other things. Like, well, she doesn't have to. And the movie's, whatever you want to call it, woke or something, because the woman does something which I'm sure in Native American society probably was not something that happened. Maybe not. Maybe it was. I don't know. Maybe they're way more enlightened than I'm not an expert, obviously. But definitely, especially. You had to have that one shot of her at the end, and then cut to the little girl going, "Oh yeah, I could do that too." That had to be in there, but that's okay.
Well, it wasn't though. But it wasn't like that. She suddenly knew how to do all this stuff. She'd been
She'd been doing it her entire life.
Yeah, exactly. Training her entire life, and I did like, even though, like when they went out on the hunting party at the beginning, they're like, well, "What is she here for?" And her brother's like, "She's a really good tracker. She's skilled at this and she's skilled at that. She stays." And they were like, "Nah, all right." So it was
they're not going to argue with him, yeah.
Right. And then even though a few minutes later she's like, "I'm going to go get my brother," and he's like, "So and so, go with her." But it wasn't like, I mean, in their society that wasn't, the women did the womanly stuff, but they I think acknowledged that hey, she knows what she's doing, so. They didn't take the tact of going, well, she's useless. It was like, oh, okay, well, she proved herself, so okay, no problem. But I don't know. It was
exactly.
I thought it was good, and I don't think it was a Mary Sue situation. She'd been training her whole life for it. So
I agree. It's not like Rey who just knew the Force. I'm just kidding.
Or Luke who just knew the Force. But
or Luke. Yeah. Well, he's a Skywalker though. So
she's a Palpatine.
Anyway,
so
she's a Palpatine. Yeah, Palpatine. Yeah. Or a Palatine, whatever that is. It was cool. I enjoyed it, and it doesn't bother me, like you said. It didn't bother me that she knew how to do stuff because she'd been training to do it all of her life, and excuse me, and she basically states the entire purpose of the movie. I want to do this because everyone tells me I can't. So it's like, I'm going to do this shit because people think I can't do it.
Right.
So that's the deal, man.
Exactly.
So there you go.
I will watch it again because it was really good. And like you said, I want to watch it with the Comanche language soundtrack. I think that'll be interesting.
Me too.
And I would totally watch a sequel to this. I'm if the people making this are now shepherding the Predator franchise, because they've said we want to make some more and we want to do different things with the franchise. So even if there is another Predator movie that doesn't necessarily directly follow this story, I'm still interested because I thought they did a good job with this one. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah. I agree.
Yes.
I agree with you. Okay. Should we transition a bit to space?
Yes, let's go to the future now. Well, I guess it's not the future in the show.
It's technically the
past.
present. No, it's the past, but also the future.
Yes, it's the past, but also the future. And
I'm confused.
Somewhat present day. I don't know.
About everything that's happening right now. I don't know what is happening. It's very confusing.
I'll say this, though. The latest episode of For All Mankind pulled itself out of a pit.
Well, anytime it's just funny that they're like, oh, they fast forward 5 months, so Kelly's now very pregnant.
Yes.
And I'm enjoying the show still, and I thought there were some really good moments in this, especially with the president. And spoilers for All Mankind if you haven't watched
that
this
was
episode,
huge.
but yeah, that was a big deal, and I thought that was a cool way to so her husband didn't have to get thrown under the bus.
Yes.
Although I admire him for willing to do it, but being willing to do it. But that was a cool revelation. But Yeah, and I thought the episode was good. It's like, oh, everyone's happy. He's going to get the whatever, and now is a great time for something horrible to happen.
For a soap opera cliffhanger. So,
oh, I got to find my daughter unconscious on the ground.
I'm going to go get Kelly. And at that moment, I knew, okay, she's going to be...
Kelly's
yeah.
fucked.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's what I was thinking. It's like, oh, everyone's happy, so now,
well,
it's tragedy.
Especially, like you said, with foreshadowing earlier in the episode, they're like, well, this is because of the gravity and stuff. This is why they got to get her up to Phoenix before she gives birth. And I'm like, oh, there's going to be some complications getting there, of course. But
well, not to mention the radiation, which would probably destroy the baby.
Yeah, probably.
But because it would have, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but I'm pretty sure it would
have
some
protection.
But I
play one on a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Let me tell you my scientific opinion. I believe.
I saw a YouTube video that.
Yeah, exactly. I went to the internet and it told me that babies cannot survive radiation.
Right.
But it's so obviously there's a problem there, and that'll be one of the cliffhangers. How are they going to get the fuck out of Mars as soon as possible? But then things were going pretty well until the other two reached the crash site of the Korean ship.
Yeah, that was a little like, wait, what?
And I'm like, it's just like that trope of the Japanese fighter pilot that crashed on a jungle who doesn't know the war is not going on anymore. It's like, why is this guy here?
And how long has he been there?
And how long has he been there with no food or water?
Right,
and how come no one knew that they launched this thing? And how, it's like, what?
Yeah, that was a little like, okay.
Out of left field. I don't know. It's like... it was very strange, but I still love the show, and that was so silly that I kind of thought it was funny, so I kind of enjoyed it. But
yeah, that was just like, oh, that's a good comedic relief after what just happened. But it's like,
yeah, I thought that there was going to be some kind of more tension between the Russian captain and the American captain. I forget her name, Danny. Also,
well, they've kind of softened that.
Yeah, I thought maybe they'd have like a romance in the shuttle or something.
Yeah, be like, we're not coming back. We're going to homestead here.
And speaking of drug addicted Dannies, 5 months of
Dannies. Nice.
5 months of sobriety seems to have helped him. Except he had to have a tantrum. It's like, why is no one blaming me?
Well, it is convenient that the only person that can tell on him is dead. So,
well, right. Was he mad that they weren't blaming him, or was he mad that it's just?
I want to take credit for it. That asshole.
But the looks they give him, are like, that kid is weird. As he storms off, gosh darn it.
Well,
I know that he never would have made it in the space program if it wasn't for a private company. If Ed hadn't left NASA, he never would have made it at NASA. So they would have booted him. But the fact that Ed went to whatever it's called to work with Dev, and then Ed could pick whoever he wanted to, and Ed overlooked all of Danny's obvious myriad of issues, is the only reason he's there now.
Yes.
So Ed probably should feel more guilty about that, but
Ed kept overlooking it. They're setting it up. I mean, next week or this next episode is the finale, and it has already been renewed. But I have this feeling they're setting this up, especially because of what Danny did in the premiere, that he's going to make the heroic sacrifice to get them all off the planet or something. So,
sure, he's going to wrap himself in aluminum foil.
Yes, he's got to redeem. He's got to redeem himself somewhat, and he's kind of like, I can't live with the guilt anymore, and I can't.
Or he tries to do that, but fails miserably.
Well, that could be because that seems to be his...
Because he's an idiot.
Yeah.
And then they still covered for him by saying he was a hero.
He was a hero, but he almost killed them all. and the only reason he didn't is because Ed shot him in the head or something.
Right, yeah. Ed just beats him with a baseball bat.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm done.
Why they have a baseball bat on the ship, I don't know.
But hey, why not at this point? So
anyway, yeah.
Still loving the show, though, and I'm excited to see... I'm already excited for the next 10-year jump to see where we are in the aughts on the show.
Yeah, and I was also happy to see the other girl get some actual acting to do, and not just be so angry and clenched all the time.
Yes.
Yeah, she actually had a good scene, and was upset and could express other emotions for a change. I thought she did a good job, and the thing with her father was pretty poignant too. But
then she finally was like, "Yep, he's not good."
Yeah, so. Well, not just that, but it's like, I don't trust anybody now. So I wonder what she'll do. I wonder if she'll just be, I feel like she'll probably confront Margot directly, and that'll be like a cliffhanger ending too. Because how do you let that go? I don't think you can. So
I think the only part of that I didn't really like was when she confides in what's his name, Bill. Was that?
Yeah.
And she's like,
"You're dead to me.
Tell me. I'm going to tell this all, and I want you to tell me I'm wrong." And he's like, "Oh crap, you're right." And he's like, "You gotta do this." And she's always kind of thought of him as like this big brother kind of guy, and then because he's like forces it, she's like, "Oh, you're dead to me." I was like, "All right, that's a little much." I guess she was more mad at herself, but still.
I think she's just mad at Margot. I think she's just angry in general, and the fact that now her hand's being forced, she's not able to.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's fine. They had to have some falling out, and they'll probably reconcile at some point.
Yeah.
But he was right. But it's like, I'm going to bring the FBI person to dinner, whatever. That's maybe
that was a little underhanded. So I wonder if Aleda ends up becoming like the head of NASA, and she brings him in to run. She's like, all is forgiven. Come run mission.
And then Karen will be CEO of Helios, and Alito will run NASA, and then the president's a lesbian, and it all works out.
I wonder if
girls are getting it done, Joe.
I wonder if she's done on the show, because does she come back to NASA after being disgraced as the president? But I think she handled it well, though. I think I would like to think in the world of the show that's the turning point to having more acceptance of.
Maybe it's an idealized anyway version of society, so people actually accept it, because like the news reports were showing in the show, it's like some people were against it, most people were for it. It looked like, but she's still the president. She can't be fired, so it's not like she has to worry about re-election. Maybe, that's true. That's still 2 years away, so a lot can happen.
She can be impeached and removed, but I don't know.
Yeah, but that's probably not going to happen either. No. It's that line is like, we haven't impeached the president in 125 years. I'm like, good time.
Yeah.
Innocent time.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
It is just it's still interesting that they made her a Republican, though. I find that
I know. That was kind of
an interesting choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm enjoying the show a lot. I'm looking forward to the season finale, and I'm glad it's getting more episodes and another season, at least one more, I think, right? So,
it's definitely another season. I hope that it continues and either catches up with us or by the time it catches up to the 2020s, Ed's got to be like dead at that point, or maybe he runs for president. I don't know, but
maybe Ed sacrifices himself at some point.
That could be. That would be a big twist that nobody sees coming.
That's true. Anyway,
so we'll find out.
We'll find out. Exactly. Do you have a pick this week, or were we just going to both pick Prey and call it a day?
No, I have a pick. I actually have a TV show that
okay. What is it?
I just binged watched, and thankfully got renewed for a second season because of the way the first season ended. It's a show called The Lazarus Project. I don't know if like me that you're a fan of time loop stories.
I don't know if, like me, you're a fan of time loop stories. I don't know if, like me, you're... Sorry.
Anyway, about Prey. Did you see
Prey was amazing. I totally did, yeah. Wait, what happened?
Wait, whoa. That was weird. Whoa. So this is it is a time loop story, and it starts out much like all the time loop stories where the main character realizes he's in a time loop, but it quickly progresses in a direction that I never expected. It turns out there is an organization called the Lazarus Project, which has been saving mankind from extinction level events throughout history, or at least for the last 30 years or so. And they have some kind of machine, we don't know what it is, but they have a mechanism by which they can reset time back to July 1st of whatever year they're in. So if they don't, basically they can loop as many times as they need to be able to solve whatever it is that either has a significant impact on mankind or ends the world. And there are people that are recruited to this organization that are given a serum that makes them aware of the time loops. And then, much like our main character, there are the rare people that become naturally aware of them. And
interesting.
I can tell you that at that point, totally goes in a direction I did not see. And I don't remember. Maybe it did happen, and maybe I already watched the show. I don't remember.
You probably watched it 100 times.
I know.
You're in a time loop.
But it goes, and it does a great job of showing because everyone thinks, like Groundhog Day, if you're aware of it, you could go and you can do things right, and you can do a lot of fun stuff and all this. And this tends to show the negative repercussions of especially going through a multiple time loop in the same time frame. And it's a really good show. It is very dramatic, has fantastic characters. And like I said, it does something different, much like I said I enjoy. It does something different with a, tried and true trope. So it's highly recommended.
You do enjoy the different. That's
yes. True. So I highly recommend it. The Lazarus Project, check it out. It got renewed. So you can watch it with the assurance that you'll be able to watch it again and again and again. Oh, wait. No, that's not how that works. You'll be able to go forward. You won't be stuck in a loop of only having to watch the first season.
Right.
That's what I meant to say. So,
don't drive angry. Oh.
Yes.
Sorry. I couldn't help to give Groundhog Drive.
Don't let the groundhog drive. That's a bad idea.
Don't let the groundhog drive. That's probably a good plan for any time, whether you're in a time loop or not.
Yeah.
That's a fun movie, Groundhog Day.
It is.
Very much. All right. Well, I'm not very inventive today. So my pick is Prey. I enjoyed it very much, as we talked about, and I think that everyone should watch it and support movies like this because it tried something different, and it turned out really well. And I still think the Predator franchise has got some legs, if you want to call it that. And they could do a lot more movies like this. But give Dan Trachtenberg more work, too. That guy did a great job with this. And it's only his second movie. His first was 10 Cloverfield Lane, which also was terrific.
Yeah.
Featuring the menacingly evil John Goodman.
Yes.
I would say Prey is an excellent film, and you should watch it and support it and support other things like that. And support, indie kind of. I mean, it's kind of like an indie movie in a way, even though it's a big studio movie in a way, too. But now I wonder if they're kicking themselves saying, hey, maybe we should have released this in the big screen.
Yeah,
it would have made a lot of money.
I would have watched that on the big screen.
Me too. So there you go.
So
that's my pick.
Prey's your pick.
Prey.
That's a good pick. So for my pick, I already picked. Oh, that's
okay.
weird.
You can't keep making that joke.
Oh, sorry.
You can't keep making that joke.
Sorry. All right.
I'm sorry.
Fine.
All right. So that's good. Find the Flickcast at Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all the other places you find podcasts. You can find us on YouTube. You can find Joe and I on the socials at What Joe Writes. I'm at Chris Yu and also at Ulrich Picks on Instagram. And of course, if you need more links for the Flickcast, it's linktr.ee/the-Flickcast. It's our link tree.
Yes.
Where you can find all the places to find the show. But again, it's sort of ironic to do this at the end, considering if you're listening to the show to hear this, you probably already know where to find it. But you know what? That's okay.
Still.
Maybe you'll tell a friend. Rate or review the show would be nice. Anything else? I think that's all the places.
Yeah, I think
all
that's
the things. I really need to record this and just attach it at the end every time. It'd probably be easier. But
that might be. Let's do a canned. Yeah, we should do a canned outro and just tack it on. I think that'd be fun.
A canned outro. I like that.
Yes. I don't know if.
Do you call up someone on the phone and say, "Do you have outro in a can?" No,
well, you better. Wait.
Let him out before he suffocates. Yeah. Oh, no more jokes. No more jokes. Anything else, Joe?
I think I was going to do another time loop joke, but I don't think I will.
You're going to do another time loop joke?
I was going to say, I'm doing good. Thanks. I'm glad.
How have you been?
Yeah.
I've been fine, thank you. I'm going to check out that show. That looked interesting.
It is really good. It's well done. And it has some a lot of recognizable people on it.
Did you say where you can find it? Is it on...
You can find. You'll have to go back in time to find it. No, it's on, I think it's AMC Plus. Because everything's a plus now.
No one has AMC Plus, man. Come on.
Well, they should because
that's why no one's seen Dark Winds or whatever it's called either.
Oh, that's such a good show. That's renewed
too. That got renewed.
See, somebody's watching because these shows are getting renewed. So
apparently, you have to have a plus. So this is the Flickcast Plus from now on.
This is the Flickcast. Yes, we should do that.
You can't even say the name.
I cannot.
Dude, it's a little early to be drinking.
It's never too early to be drinking.
Or is it late for you?
It's kind of late for me. I haven't stopped. I've been awake since.
That's right. I've been binging all night.
Boy, this is just falling apart at the end, isn't it?
It is falling apart. All right. So for Joe Dilworth, I'm Chris Ulrich. That was the Flickcast. Thanks so much for listening.